Welcome back to this explainer. Okay, so if you're navigating modern academia right now, you probably feel a bit like a detective staring at this massive mountain of chaotic evidence. But today, we're looking at a source that equips us with the ultimate investigator's toolkit. We're going to learn how to sift through all that noise and emerge as published authors. Okay, let's dive into this. The internet is absolutely a double-edged sword. Sure, we have limitless data right at our fingertips, but man, it is dangerously easy to waste 3 hours at 2 in the morning reading a beautifully formatted paper that turns out to be, well, total fluff. The source we're examining argues that we really need a highly systematic approach to efficiently filter the veracious, the absolute truth, from the intellectually dishonest, all without wasting our precious time. So here's our investigator's syllabus for today. First, defining the evidence. Second, the three-phase investigation. Third, interrogating the source. And finally, presenting the case. All right, Section 1, defining the evidence. What exactly is a true research article? And this brilliantly illustrates the razor-sharp line between casual online writing and actual scholarly work. Think about a blog. It's kind of like a fast food opinion. It's impromptu, unedited, and usually capped at 1,000 words. A true research article, on the other hand, carries some serious technical gravity. It is a comprehensive, peer-reviewed investigation heavily reliant on citations. Its ultimate goal? To practically advance human understanding. Let's take legal research as an example here. This isn't just about reading established statutes, what we often call black-letter law. The source highlights that a true legal article is normative. It acts as an interdisciplinary melting pot, analyzing the gap between the theory and the practice of law. So it's arguing not just what the law currently is, but what it actually ought to be. Moving right along to Section 2, the three-phase investigation. This is all about a methodical reading approach. Let's move to and see how this builds into our core weapon against literature overload. The framework suggests we should literally never read a paper start to finish without a solid plan. Phase 1 is scanning. You're just getting a preliminary bird's-eye view of the title and abstract to see if it even connects to your keywords. If it passes, you jump to Phase 2, a quality check. This is a plain reading just for coherence and proper structure. And only then do you enter Phase 3, critical and creative reading. Now, in Phase 3, the source notes that our mindset has to shift entirely. We're no longer just passive readers, we are interrogators. We're hunting for weak links in their logical reasoning, and we're challenging every single assumption. We compartmentalize their ideas, and most importantly, we read creatively, drawing a direct nexus between their findings and our own specific case file. Which brings us to Section 3, interrogating the source, assessing research quality. The text gives us these highly specific benchmarks to vet our evidence and see if it can actually pave the way for our own work. A high-quality article doesn't wander. It is hyperspecific, measurable, and offers clear authorities. It provides practical, attainable solutions, not abstract fluff. Oh, and a huge green flag: transparency. If an author claims their paper perfectly solves everything, yeah, they probably aren't doing good science. But, this raises a really fascinating question for us. How do we actually scientifically measure a study's validity? When peer reviewers and experts are grading a paper's worth, what invisible metrics are they looking at? Well, it really comes down to two types of validity. First up is internal validity. This is basically the extent to which a research study successfully rules out alternative explanations. A solid source leaves absolutely no room for unaddressed variables. If an author claims A causes B, but entirely ignores that C might have caused B, their internal validity is compromised. They have to logically explain why those alternates are just completely irrelevant. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that a study might be internally perfect in a vacuum. But that brings us to external validity, which asks, can these findings actually be generalized and applied to the real world? Great research doesn't just exist in a conceptual bubble. It applies comprehensively across the broader spectrum of society or the discipline. And finally, Section 4, presenting the case, writing your own article. So we've vetted our evidence, and now it's time to step into the author's shoes. As Benjamin Franklin famously said, either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. The source reminds us that to do this, we can't just reiterate past work. Academic writing takes genuine discipline and a burning desire to contribute original, measurable value to the academic conversation. To actually pull that off, the text outlines a 7-step life cycle for production. It takes us all the way from overcoming that initial dread of the blank page, through brainstorming and locking in a single claim, conducting the literature review, all the way to structuring and finally editing and proofing the work for the academic community. Let's look a bit closer at step 1, because honestly, this stops most of us dead in our tracks. The source calls them specious barriers, telling ourselves we have no time, insufficient resources, or that we're just waiting for inspiration to strike. The counter to this is the determined start. It's the sheer commitment to overcoming those roadblocks, sitting down and just beginning the writing process, inspired or not. Going from a messy brainstorm to a single, defendable claim is incredibly difficult. The text suggests writing out your general topic first, but then hunting for specific, unresolved issues and testing them against contrary perspectives to remain objective. So the crucial point is this: if you cannot capture your core point in a single sentence, your focus is still way too broad. Okay, with your claim locked in, you kind of have to act as a tour guide for your reader. To prevent cognitive overload, build the path logically. Move from what the reader knows into the unknown. Transition smoothly from simple concepts to complex ones, and lay out uncontested facts before jumping into heated debates. If you build it chronologically, going from general to particular, the reader will inevitably arrive at your conclusion. So, we now have the complete investigator's methodology from the source material. We know how to filter the noise, interrogate the evidence, and construct a bulletproof case of our own. The only question left is this: what new insight or claim will you bring to your field of study? It is time to stop drowning in the literature and start adding your own powerful voice to the academic conversation. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you